There used to be this Yiddish stand-up comedian, humorist, Jigan. And at one point there was this skirmish between China and Vietnam. And this Jigan said, I don't understand why they need weapons. The Chinese, all they need to do is take all the Chinese people, put them next to the Vietnam border, let them all give one spit, and all Vietnam would be flooded. That's the joke he made. Why am I saying this? If God wanted to destroy Egypt, why does he need 10 plagues? Couldn't he come up with something in one moment, total destruction, and get the Jews out? So obviously, there is much more to those 10 plagues than just destruction of Egypt. But before we go into it, let us first say thank you to God for his protection from our enemies and from our so-called friends. מזמור לסויד הוריד אדוני כל הארץ עבדו סעדני בשמחה. בואי לפניו בנון דוק אדוני ולמהו עשנו ולא נחלם מצא מריסוי. בואי ישרו בסויד חצרויס בסילה הוידה לבוכר שבוי. כי טוב אדוני לעולם חסדו וידו ודר אמונוסוי. Let's give some tzedakah. And prayers for the safety of all of Klal Yisrael. There's again noise going around in Eretz Yisrael. Not such a good one. So let's hear good news. 10 plagues. The first one, blood. Second one, frogs. Let's focus today on those two. What God did was that transformed the Nile, and for that matter, all the waters in the entire of Egypt, they were transformed from water to blood. The second one was, suddenly from the water, tzfadei, frogs appeared that invaded Egypt. They were literally all over. Nobody was spared, no space was spared, no place was spared, even in those places that normally they would not go, such as in warm ovens, because a frog is a cold creature, lives in cold water, they went in there. But what's the idea? What is the message? The 10 plagues were not just about destroying Egypt. It was about destroying Egyptian culture, about destroying Egyptian idolatry. Egypt was a superpower. Egypt was the foremost intellectual, so to say, people of the time. Their belief was in the Nile. I don't mean the Nile, D-E-N-I-A-L, but the T-H-E, Nile, the water Nile. Reason? Because that's their source of water. Egypt has no rain, and their source of water was the Nile. But water also represents, according to Chassidus, pleasure. As it says, because it is water that gives growth to all pleasures. Egypt had two foundations. Something which was very important to them, physical pleasure. They were depraved people. And they were coarse. Their life was driven by physical pleasure and arrogance. So there's the physical pleasure, and then there is the noise. The noise they make, their arrogance. As Parasha says, Li oiri v'ani asasini. I'm God. I created it. I'm a self-made person. Boasting this arrogant noise. Comes Hashem, comes God that says, your source of pleasure will be transformed into blood, which became repulsive. to understand that all these pleasures that Egypt represents is actually repulsive. It's not something that you want to emulate. Their entire lifestyle was a repulsive lifestyle. Their noise, their arrogance, God said, I'm going to send you some other noise. I'm sure you've heard those croaking of the frogs, and if you have them all over, they could really be disturbing. To tell us that the noise they are making is irrelevant, is false, is empty, is vain. God is telling the Jewish people, you want freedom, you want to come out of Egypt. You must let go of these two Egyptian foundations.